Hello and welcome. This is Christy Haig with a tutorial for you from digitalscrapbookingclasses.com. In this lesson I'm going to be teaching you about the Move tool. That's this first tool right up here in the upper left of our tools palette. If I click on it, you will see that the name Move Tool appears over it, and if I were to click right on that blue writing, it would take me to a web page where it would give me some information about the Move tool. But I just want to show you the tool options that appear right here in the bar up here. The first one is Unselect Layer, and right now the box is checked, which means that if I click right here on my layout, whatever layer I click on, whichever piece of the layout that I click on, you will see that the box comes around it because the computer has selected that layer. So for example, if I click right here on my son's picture, and I can then move him around, clicking and holding while I drag the picture where I want to go. If I were to unselect that box, then whatever I click on is not automatically selected. You'll see right here that this piece of text is currently selected, and I can click elsewhere on the page. I'm clicking right now on things and nothing else is being selected. If I were to click and hold my mouse down and drag around, it would just be picking up that piece of text that was selected. So that's Unselect Layer. The second option here is Show Bounding Box, and this one is very simple too. When I click on a layer, you see how these dotted lines and these little boxes select around that picture. If I were to unselect that, then I can click and select different layers. Here I've selected my daughter's picture, but you do not see the boxes, the bounding boxes around it, which is a nice option if you want to be able to move things without those dotted lines getting in the way of how it looks. However, if you want to resize something, you're going to need those bounding boxes back. So you will want to go ahead and make sure that that is selected. The third option here is the Show Highlight Unroll Over. By clicking on this, it will show me what item on the layout will be selected if I were to click on any given spot. So if I were to click here, this blue line is showing me that that picture will be selected. If I move over here, I can see where I'm on here. Now this is especially useful if you want to, for example, select something small like this staple. Then I can hover until I get right where that blue box is going, and then click, and I know that I will have selected that layer. Now these next options are drop-down menus. The first one is the Arrange options. If I click on this picture of my son and I go to Arrange and choose Bring to Front, it will take that picture that was underneath the title, the word waffles, and it will put it way up on the front of the layout. I can also send it all the way to the back, which would then hide it under the background layer. Or I could simply send it backwards one spot and it will move back just under one layer. You'll notice here in our layers palette, back when I have the picture on the top layer, watch what happens to it when I go to Arrange and send backwards. It just moves it down one layer. I could then arrange and send backwards again, arrange, send backwards again. It allows you to move things up and down in the layers palette. Let me reset that. For the second drop-down menu, I'm going to have at least 2 items on my layout selected. So to do that, I'm going to click on one. I'm going to hold my Shift key down while clicking on another, and you will see that the boxes now go around both items because both are selected. The Align drop-down menu allows you to align the pictures. Right now the pictures are aligned based on their top edges. Their top edges are right even with each other, but I could also choose to select bottom edges, and both of my pictures would be lined up on their bottom edges. I could choose left edges to line them both up together in their left edges, and so forth. So choosing 2 different pieces on my layout, I've selected this picture and this red strip. I could align them with their left edges together, or I could align them with their centers, their horizontal centers even, so the right down the middle of the picture is lined up with the middle of the strip, and so forth. Finally, this third drop-down menu, the Distribute menu, requires you to have at least 3 items on your layout selected. So I will select this picture of my son and these 2 paper strips. I'm doing this again by holding the Shift key down while I click on each one. And I go to Distribute, and I could distribute their bottom edges, for example. And that would mean that the bottom edge of the picture is just as far away from the bottom edge of this strip as it is from the bottom edge of this strip. So all 3 bottom edges are evenly distributed across the page. I could also go and distribute their right edges, and that would mean that the right edge of this is evenly distributed with the right edge of this, which is evenly distributed with the right edge of this. Now, when would you use something like this? Well, for example, I have these alpha letters to spell waffles here, so I'm going to select all of those letters, and I'm going to go to Distribute, and I might distribute the top edges, for example, and it would stagger them nicely. Instead, I could choose Align and put the top edges together, and it would evenly align the top edges. Or again, I could go to Distribute and distribute their bottom edges, and it would make them look more staggered across the page. Finally, I just want to give credit for the things that I used on this layout. This layout was made using digital scrapbooking supplies created by Shauna Klingerman, Laura Banasic, Connie Prince, Libby Pritchard, and Darcy Baldwin. For more tutorials and classes in digital scrapbooking, head over to digitalscrapbookingclasses.com. Have fun and keep scrapping memories.